Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Hot Wheels Silhouette. And we're going to be doing some body work this week. We're going to be focusing mainly on two areas. One is filling in all these gaps here. And you can see I've kind of got it started with some styrene glued to the underside of the gaps here, so acts a little bit of filler and strengthener. And the other thing that I want to focus on is getting the bottom half of the car lined up and glued together. In the review of the kit, I mentioned how I don't really like the way that that's split because it's going to leave a gap all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off, the front, both sides, and the back, and I'm going to glue those panels into place so I'll be left with a separate belly pan. And, that should let me get things filled in nicely. So I'm going to start by making those cuts, and I will be right back. Alright, so here we've got the front, back, and sides glued in place. And you can see it's still not a perfect fit, but at least now I've got a fighting chance of getting things smooth together. So at this point, I'm going to start doing some filler. I'm going to start with the gaps here. And for that, I'm going to be using some automotive body fill. I'm going to be using Bondo's 2-part spot and glazing putty. You want to make sure that you use the 2-part version, not just the 1-2, because that one will shrink. And to mix it up, I'm going to make myself a disposable mixing tray out of one of these. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. So I got one of these, and then I can take the other half, and I've got myself an applicator. So I'm going to start out by putting just a little bit of the filler in here. You don't want to put too much in because this stuff has a fairly short work time, so you don't want to waste any more than you have to. And then I'm going to take some of the hardener, just squeeze the bottle a couple of times, and put in a much smaller amount of this than you did of the filler. So kind of to that ratio. I'm just going to take a popsicle stick here, mix it up. And you want to get it mixed up so that it's kind of a uniform pink color. You can see it's still got some swirls in it. So make sure to scrape everything off the bottom, out from around it, and just get it mixed up really nice. That's about what you want it to look like right there in the middle. I'm going to take my custom applicator here. And I like using the clear plastic because I can kind of see through it to what I'm doing. And I'm just going to spread it right across there. And because it doesn't shrink, you can push it right down into the gaps. You don't need to leave it mounted like you do for other fillers. So now I'm just going to go around the body and do the same thing for all the big gaps we've got here. Alright, so there's the first round of filler. I'm going to let this dry overnight. I'm going to give it some sanding, and we're going to take a look and see what needs to be done then. Alright, did the sanding. Actually hit it a second time with the white Tamiya filler putty. And while I was at it, I added the front fenders to it. So had a busy overnight. You can see, overall, it's looking pretty good. Got most of the gaps filled in here. I need to know now what the overall looks like, so it's time to give it a primer coat and see what our results are. And here we have it in our first primer coat. And overall, not too bad. I use Duplicolor's filler primer because that is very forgiving, but as you can see it also leaves a little bit of a grainy texture, so I'm going to have to go back through and wet sand everything. But overall, not bad. Not bad. Don't really see too many sink marks, certainly no cracks anymore, but I think this might be just about ready for paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it the wet sanding like I was talking about, and then I'm going to hit it with some Tamiya primer, and that will kind of give me the final okay or any other places that I need to fill in. So that's it for this week. I'm going to be doing that. Next week I'm going to be working on the engine and chassis, so check back then, and thanks for watching.